Step inside the Strength Barracks podcast. The intersection of perspiration and inspiration is our training ground. Join us as we journey with elite athletes and everyday individuals, unearthing the stories and strategies that can unleash the potential within us all. This is your gateway to the ultimate audio arsenal dedicated to strength, resilience, and the unyielding quest for self-improvement. All right, this is, podcast number, who cares? We've been trying to do this for like 2 years at least.
Quite some time.
Yeah. Mike Brewer, I don't think you really need a introduction right here, but for people that maybe not be familiar with you, you graduated Hillsborough in 2019. You committed to Southern Miss. The Texas Rangers picked you up at the end of that year, or close to the end of that year. Since then, minor league, you played Arizona, North Carolina, Texas.
Yeah, a little bit everywhere.
A little bit everywhere. Let's go, before we get into all these questions, walk us through what happened that summer of 2019, because that was really cool.
It was
how it worked out.
Wild, everything that went on.
Right.
So, graduating high school, full plans of going to play college baseball.
Right.
Nothing to do with pro ball. I was like, okay, let's go play college. And Southern Miss, man, they have a program where you can go down there midsummer, and I think I went down there in July. That's what it was. And so I got drafted in June. Let's take that back. I got drafted in June, but they hadn't signed me yet.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I'm still going to college. Screw pro ball.
Yeah.
And
I remember that conversation.
And Southern Miss, man, they had a program where you can get down there a month early. And so I was like, I'm going to go do that. And get down there in July. And, man, I'm there about 5 days, and my scout calls me. He's like, hey, he's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, we have this amount of number for you, this number. He's like, will you take it? I'm like, no. I was like, I want the number I came up with.
Gave you in the first place.
He's like, that's what I'm taking, or I'm going to school. Right. I'm already here.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. He's like, we'll probably get back with you in a couple of days, blah, blah. Okay. And I think I was in the chow hall, or not chow hall, but the
cafeteria.
Yeah, cafeteria. And a couple of the guys, and man, his phone or his name came up on my screen. And I was like, oh, all right, let's see where this goes. So I got up, went to the bathroom wherever I went, and he's like, hey, he's like, blah, blah. He's like, we have your money. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's do this. What happens now? He's like, okay, well, it's like, we'll call you in here in a couple hours with all your flight information. He's like, you're going to be heading out here tomorrow to Texas. I'm like, tomorrow? I'm in Mississippi. I still have to drive home. So that's an 8-hour drive home. Right. So I mean, I get off the phone there, call my dad, and I've never truly wanted to cry of excitement.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as I talked to him, man, I just I never did, but man, I had those buffalo tears
about to lose it.
Oh, and I was like, I can't do it. I still got to go talk to the guys out there and tell them I'm leaving them. I can't be crying when I go out there. And so I called him, and man, I think he was more excited than I was.
Oh yeah,
because just the way he grew up and loved the game and stuff like that.
He was stopping people in the streets.
Oh yeah,
you know your dad. He was flagging people down.
He didn't have a bill. So I mean, I go out there and tell them, and then the worst part was not the worst part, but I had full intentions. If I was going to go play pro ball, I was going to have to tell my school coach or the Southern Miss coach
right.
over the phone, and obviously I had to tell him in person. And, pretty intimidating. Right. I already committed to go there. I was already there, and I was like, yeah, I mean, he was super excited for me, but obviously it kind of hurts him too.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're a good coach, you're not going to ask anybody to pass up that opportunity.
Exactly. And I think 2 days later, he called my parents and talked to him for an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
And so then we shipped out the next day, obviously, to go to Texas. We're there 2 days. And then I thought I was going to come back home after Texas for a little bit and then fly out to wherever we were. And nope, straight from Texas to Arizona. And man, that flight schedule was just horrible.
I bet.
It was
and I remember too, because there's a certain time frame you have to sign that you were under that contract.
Yeah, so I was 2 days away from it.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Until we got down there.
Because you have when you're coming out of high school, they have so many days after your graduation date to basically have you in a contract, or they have to wait till you're 21.
Yeah.
And I know it was down to the last 36 hours.
It was close.
Yeah.
But then there was dudes coming in after me. I'm
really?
Jesus Christ. It's why did we take so long?
It's somebody just figured the budget out finally.
Right.
No, but I remember too, because I was in the gym and I looked at my phone and I had a text from you and it said, call me.
Yeah.
And so I called you and you're like, guess where I am? I'm like, where? You're like, driving back to St. Louis. I'm like, why are you driving back? It's like, Rangers accepted the offer. It's like, that was awesome. It was crazy.
It was something else. But the best part was, man,
and then I went outside and your dad was in the street.
The best part was, though, that like I can remember was when I first got drafted. I was literally cutting grass on a lawnmower. I didn't have a party. I didn't think it was going to happen. So I was out there working because in high school, man, I had about 20 yards I had to cut.
Right.
So, I mean, I had to keep up with those.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of anticipating a call, but like never truly were. And I was like, all right, I'm going to leave my phone in the truck this one time. I was like, 'cause usually when people want to get a hold of me.
Not let it fuck with you.
Yeah. And I was like, usually when people want to get a hold of me, I don't have my phone on me.
Right.
So I left it in there, man. I get done cutting this little yard. And I pull up to the window. I just peek in the window. Man, it's just lighting up. I'm like, oh, man, got to answer it.
Well, a piece of luck work.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean,
so you've been, let's see, you're going in your 5th year?
I believe so,
with
yeah.
them? Well, yeah, next year, basically. Do you know, you going back to Carolina when you come back, or you have no idea?
No, I think I'm going to go to Texas, to Frisco there, AA.
Okay.
So I think that's where I'm going to start off.
All right.
But hell, man, I started out in Arizona. Arizona's fun, but like that's the bottom of the line. Like that's where you start your careers at. And man, it's just like every single day was the same thing, and it's 120 out.
Right.
And you're just like, oh my gosh. And like I never realized, you think everybody in pro ball would just love the game of baseball because you have to, because I mean you're doing it for 140 games.
Right.
And when you get to the big leagues, it's 162.
Yeah.
And but like the amount of people that would come into that like complex every day just hating the game of baseball.
Really?
Like, I hate it here. I hate this. I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Well, that makes no sense.
Right.
But then as soon as like you get out of that Arizona like aspect and all that, it's like you see everybody that truly loves the game of baseball and like wants to play it and all that. So it gets real fun as soon as you get like out of Arizona and like the rookie ball, I should say.
Right.
And Texas was best though.
Yeah.
Texas League, man. That's where the true competition comes out. Like you gotta make your pitches, you gotta do everything to a T or you're gonna get exposed.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no weak sisters there.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So
who were you with when they first I remember you did a little bit where it was a lot of the guys on injured reserve you were throwing to? Was that just like I
think that might have been like extended. So after spring training, if you don't break with like an affiliate, so like if you don't go to North Carolina or you don't go to Texas or anywhere like that,
right?
You have a month until your season starts in Arizona.
Okay.
And that whole month you're either throwing to dudes that are hurt or you're just playing like sim games. So it's basically like
30 pitches, it's over.
Yeah, that's it. And but I mean that was exciting. Like who'd I throw to?
Well, a lot of those injured pros can still swing a bat though. Like I'm sure that's pretty good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, I forgot who I threw to, but they can hit.
Yeah.
It's different. They have their eyesight and stuff like that for the zone is just incredible.
Oh, especially the stuff we know now about the brain.
Oh yeah.
And like picking up the ball is
yeah, they're basically robots out there.
Yeah, and not everybody's brain can do it.
No.
It doesn't matter how much batting practice you get in. Especially now with the way the game's played now.
Fast.
Dude. It's crazy. So we'll back up a little bit. You were a multi-sport athlete in high school.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think that contributed to your overall success now? Like, had you prioritized early as a single sport, do you think you'd be where you're at now?
So I really wanted to go into my senior year. Like I told my dad, I was like, I want to focus on baseball. It's like, because I knew I was going to go play that.
Right. But that was your dunk fest season, though,
exactly. Too. I was like, I looked like Blake Griffin out there. And so like I told him, I was like, I just want to focus on baseball this year. I was like, that's all I want to do. I want to focus on it. He's like, okay. He's like, you got to go down there and tell Coach Johnson. Like we lived about 3 houses down from him.
Right.
And
Coach Dan Johnson?
Yeah, Dan. Yeah. And man, he's you know who he is. Yeah, he's and I couldn't do it. I was like, if I go down there and tell him, I'm like, he's gonna eat me. But no, just like the basketball side. I wish I would have played football too. But I feel like I would have got hurt maybe.
Yeah.
But the basketball side just I feel like helped me with like my like agility and stuff like that.
Overall athleticism.
Because baseball like really isn't like truly like athletic to like other stuff.
It's baseball's one of those weird sports that you're either at 0 or 100% dynamic. There's no like
in between.
Yeah,
it's weird. And I loved it though.
Baseball players are still athletes. It's just it's different.
It is.
Yeah,
it's like it's a different game from everything else.
Right.
It's like if you take a basketball player and put him into baseball, you'll see it. You're like, oh, that dude can't play. But then like I don't know. I love it. The basketball like. Dunking was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh, just getting up there. It's like you would almost black out every time.
Right.
Just like you dunk like, oh, what just happened?
I mean, when you're dunking in high school, that's pretty much an orgasm every time. Like, it's not as common as everybody thinks it is.
No,
like,
no. I mean, now it is though. You see like 7th graders doing it.
I had 2 8th graders that dunked last year.
Really?
And a 9th grader.
In a game?
No, not in a game.
But just being able to. That's impressive.
And then 2 of them can now dribble and dunk. So they can at least manage a ball and dunk now. And they're 9th grade.
That's insane.
That's great. And they're not. One's like 5'10".
Jesus.
Yeah, they're all 6 foot. They're all under 6 foot.
That's pretty incredible. Crazy. That's awesome.
People were like, box squats don't work. I'm like,
oh, they do.
I beg to differ. We asked that question. How does sleep affect your pitching? Do you notice certain things?
Yes and no. So like during season, man, we get so much sleep. It's like because our day doesn't start till about 2.
Right.
So like we don't have to be to the field or like do anything until 2 or 3 o'clock. So I mean, I could literally be in bed till noon every single day. And but I mean, those morning games, it's a struggle.
Yeah,
it is. I'm just like, it feels like everything's just tighter. Everything's like you got to do so much extra in that morning,
right,
to just even get going. And I don't know if it's just because I'm so used to being in bed usually at that point in the day,
probably.
And but I've heard, like, I've not done a lot of research on it, but I've like seen a lot of stuff on like sleep and how it truly affects athletes.
Oh yeah.
And like the longer they sleep, it's like great for their recovery.
Yep.
And then the less they sleep, like the ones that sleep like 4 to 5 hours are like, they struggle.
Right.
So I try to get as much as I can. Even now, like during the off season, I'm like, I'm going to try to get at least my 8. And if I can get more, I'm going to get more.
Of course.
So
that's one of the things I'm always trying to beat through, like athletes' head is, they think they don't need to sleep. And it's like, dude, sleep
as much as you need to like get up and train early. Like, also you need to.
I mean, other than food, sleep is like your number one performance enhancer that you can have as a high schooler.
Right.
Like,
and that's when like your whole body recovers.
Yeah. But they play Call of Duty till 2 and then get up at 6 or 7 for school. And it's like, no, I wonder you're always operating at 80%.
Right.
So we started working together, I don't know, was it 2016, 2017, somewhere in there? It's like 10th grade year.
I think it was 10th grade year.
Okay. And then like walk us through like your strength and conditioning progression through like all that.
Man. What did I come in with you at, like 185?
Yeah.
I was skinny a little bit. Obviously, I was still in high school, but like I was skinny. And then
you were 185, and I want to say you were doing like 80, mid 80s.
I couldn't even tell you that.
Yeah. I think it was like 83 or 85.
Yeah.
But
then man, we got after those first, like all the way through high school, man. Even going into pro ball, we tore it up, and then I graduated high school. At like 215, 220, and I mean, you could see it on the basketball court mainly. I mean, I was a brick shit house. Like nobody could really. I would just bulldoze people and then get up to the rim. That's how I got my points.
Right. Because our goal for you to go to Miss was like 225. I think is what we were aiming for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no, man, those all those squats, man.
They work.
They work. Everything works. And then those man, I hate them to this day. Those reverse hypers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the worst. I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them when you give them to me.
But when we started developing your posterior chain, like that's when your ball just started taking jumps. Like you went 3 mile per hour jump, another 3 mile per hour jump.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It really only, I want to say when it got to 93, that was when it slowed. But as soon as you dialed in control, it jumped to like 95.
Yeah. So I've like a lot of guys I've talked to, like there's always a point in their career, like you can't, like you obviously can throw harder, but like they just can't beat that number they've been at. Like I was talking to one guy, he was at 90 for like 3 years. And then out of nowhere, he just like jumped to like 93, 94.
Mm-hmm.
Like didn't even like hit 2 or 3 or 1 or 2. I was like, Jesus.
Right.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. And I don't think people understand like how finite of a percentage that it like you're already developed 99.85%,
right?
And to get that 0.3%, which is 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour,
Oh yeah,
is just it's not really you don't have the ability. It's the neural patterning.
Yeah.
Neural patterns, your central nervous system allowing your body to like, okay, we can do like,
yeah,
I'm not going to detach my arm now. We can do this.
Right.
Like,
Here we
people
go.
don't really understand that stuff. It's like, sometimes it could be 6 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be 2 years.
Yeah. You
It's
never
like
know.
a process.
It is. And that's why they call it a process.
Right. And that's generally why when younger players are signed, it's not for just 1 or 2 years. It's like they know it's going to be 5 to 7 years for you to develop, really for them to get a look at you.
Exactly.
Potential.
Oh yeah. Well, they know that. And they're going to.
Oh, the science they have is crazy.
I mean, if you'd have seen me in high school, I mean,
right.
I wouldn't have thought I was going to pro.
No, but I mean, you had teams looking at you. Like, that wasn't the Rangers' first look at you.
No.
Like,
but
they've been watching you for a year or two.
Yeah. But like, I would have never like thought to myself, like, oh, I'm going to be a pro baseball player. Like at the time, I'm like, I just didn't see it. Right. And like, I guess like now I do. I'm like, man, I was like, the jumps I have made are just like, insane. Like, I don't know if it's just like food, weight, or like learning how to throw better, learning how to like move my body better.
Right.
Just all like kind of like starting to snap a little better now.
It takes time. Like, moving efficiently.
It does.
Is another like couple of percentages of.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to really like hone in on this off season because like I've been my mobility has been horrible. And I'm really trying to key in on that this like off season so I can start using like my hips all the way like all the way up the line to like work as one. And so far, man, I've been feeling really great this off season.
That's good. Yeah. I think you're like right there at the door.
Right. So I'm just like, I just want to kick it down, just can't get through it.
So other than like hometown being obvious, like St. Louis or something, what's your favorite city that you played in so far? Like traveling. I'm sure Carolinas is awesome.
So we played in Columbia, Carolina, or I think it was South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was a nice area, but I mean, that was a weird. So we went, that was a good, like, we went out one night there. It's kind of funny. And we went out there, and the weirdest, like, situation, we were leaving. First of all, I've never been, like, checked for a gun going into a bar. And they made us raise up our belts and everything. I was like, that's kind of weird. Well, apparently, like, a year later, somebody had his 21st birthday and, like, was getting kicked out and shot the bouncer.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like, that's weird. And so we got checked, and then we were leaving the bar. And so we walk across this area, and somebody is twerking through the intersection. It's like the weirdest thing. Somebody's twerking through the intersection, then somebody in the car is like yelling at them. And so the lady that was twerking gets up, smacks the lady in the passenger seat. Oh yeah, this is like all. And so the boyfriend grabs the like girl that slapped him, pulled her out of the car, and then that car like sped off. Like, what the heck just happened?
What did we just see?
So we had to go back across to the bar to get picked up by our Uber. And as soon as we get across, there's a cop chase. And this person drops his baton, or the cop did. And this other person just picks it up, looks at it, and is like, looks like he's about to smash the subway window and just drops it. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
We need to get out of this.
We need to get out. Yeah. But that was real nice. Where we play in Double A in Frisco. It's I think it's got to be like the number one ballpark in the minor leagues. So we have a pool. I think it's the only one with a pool.
Oh wow!
And awesome area. Just like, but there are a ton of people there.
Really?
Oh, there's like 400,000 there right now, 350,000, and they say it's going to get like
just going to
2 times it
blown up.
I'm like, Jesus Christ! And that's not even like a major city. It's like a suburb.
Yeah, we need to buy some apartments out there. That's some income,
right? But dang. I think Frisco's real nice. I'm trying to think, like, the true, like, best city. I mean, that'd truly be the only city, like, city we play in.
Right.
Corpus Christi, man. I like their ballpark, but just, like, horrible, like, town.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing there.
No, but their stadium's, like, cool the way it sits. Like, you can see boats, like, big old cargo boats, like, passing by. Oh, that's kind of neat. You're always picking up, like, the chatter of them, too.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times. Because there's a naval base right there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's still there, but
I think it is.
But it was tiny. It was like podunk. So as much as you move around in minors, how much do you get to actually study players, like hitters?
Sweet.
Or are you used to seeing like a lot of the same guys all the time?
No, I mean, we'll see them so like a week at a time. We play a 6-game series.
Okay, but then you don't see them potentially for
Yeah,
a while.
usually.
Yeah.
But then we might play them. It's weird. Like there have been sometimes we'll play like a team like play them this week, off a week, and then we'll play them that other week like at home. But then then we won't play them for 4 months.
Right.
So it just depends. But like we have this thing. It's called what is it called? It's like True Media or something like that. Where like it has every single video that you can ever think of.
Really?
On hitters, pitchers, like catchers.
So you just punch in a name and just
literally you can go to big leagues,
study all you want.
Oh yeah, they'll have you like 6 different angles usually to it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like you have a lot of stuff to like truly study a guy.
Right.
Being a reliever, I've noticed it's like kind of harder because like you don't know who you're gonna face.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, like you can study for the top 5 guys. Like, okay, who are hot this series?
Right.
And you study for them, but then like you never know if you're going to get those guys. You might get the bottom of the order,
right?
And it's a completely different situation, and you're like, okay, that's not what I expected, but here we go. You gotta just go for it.
So that kind of leads into the next question. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. So your mindset really, since you don't know coming in as a reliever or closer, mm-hmm. you have no idea who you're going to face.
No idea.
So your mindset is probably different than most pitchers, like coming into that situation.
Yeah, you just got to work with like the best.
It's all on you.
Yeah, you just got to work with what you have.
Right.
And it's like, what is working for me this week? What's working for me this day? Like during catch play that day, you're like, okay, the slider was real good. Or the fastball, man, it was real poppy. Like it was jumping that day. So like, let's work on it up. And then we'll throw the curveball off of it. So it just, you got to work to your strengths. And then obviously you just like, you can read the hitter a little bit. Like if he has a long swing, you can just kind of jam him in maybe, try to break the bat on him. But I mean, other than that, you got to play to your strengths. Right. You always trust your strengths. Like don't play to the hitter's like weakness. Play to your like strength.
Right.
Like if my best pitch is my fastball up, I'm going to throw that 10 out of 10 times.
He knows it's coming, and I'm still going to make a miss.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm still going to throw it. I don't care if he knows. Like, you still have to hit the baseball.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing to do,
I think. Yeah. So, no, that kind of puts you in a mental position to almost be more aggressive, like on the attack more than a guy coming in the first inning throwing. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, so like in high at the beginning of the year, we use smelling salts before we would go into the game. Yeah. And man, dude, it was like, I don't even know how to experience, but man, you'd be like a jacked up rabbit running in there. I mean, you'd be like breathing so good, just sprinting out there.
Oh yeah,
it was good stuff though.
Speaking of that, somebody got a new bottle over there. They tested it. And
Killer,
dude. I don't even think it's in the smelling salts category anymore. Like you'd get a hit from this far away.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
the one bottle we had, it was like do not open and close containment,
closed spaces. Yeah,
like, what? Like this can't be safe.
I know.
You still rip them.
But when you got allergies, you can't breathe. You hit that, like
opens you up.
That's the best allergy medicine ever.
It really is. It's better than that little spray stuff. Usually.
Oh yeah,
that stuff's addictive.
Yeah,
I get all that usually about every year for a little bit.
It's funny you mentioned that because I think a few years ago they had to stop prescribing it so much because people were actually addicted to it.
Yeah.
Which I think there was like a certain ingredient in it or something.
Yeah, something.
They've changed it now, but yeah.
Sure they did. They probably had it in there for a reason. So you kept buying it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's big pharma.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to slip a jab in a big pharma someplace in here.
Had to.
Yeah. Let's see. Talk about mindset. Yeah. So this might send you on a tangent, but when we tell athletes like, hey, you need to be a student in your sport. What I know what that is, and I know you know what that is, but there's so many people that are and athletes, especially at the high school level, that think watching ESPN makes you a student of the sport,
right? And
not the actual like learning, like being a student of the sport.
You gotta sometimes just sit back and.
How much did you see that change? Like, I mean, not even change. It's probably a different level.
Yeah.
Of not just history, but just everything that's going on, like in a 360-degree view.
So during spring training, man, we have so many, like, just like you're basically a student. You have so many classrooms,
right?
We're sitting down, they're teaching us all the media stuff, all the spreadsheets of like what's this mean? Like the hot I can't even think of it right now, but like all the hot like charts, like so if balls are there, what does the clock mean on a baseball? Like if the angle's here, like how's this pitch moving? And like they kind of like test you on it.
Right.
So like they'll show you a clock sometimes, and they'll be like, okay, where would that pitch like be moving? And you got to like demonstrate it or tell them. But then we had
even like sports IQ stuff.
Yeah, we're basically still in school, kinda. Right. And then like there was one year we had a book. It was how to be a pitcher, how to be a good pitcher, something like that. And we had to read like a lot of it during instructional league. That's at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But then my favorite was kind of like we had this. He was a catching. I don't know if he was catching coordinator, or catching coach, but he was always with us a little bit. And it was called Turtle Trivia.
Okay.
And he would come up with, it was about 20 questions, man, every day.
Was his nickname Turtle or something?
I don't know. It might have been his real name. That's what everybody called him.
Right.
And, man, he would come up in the bullpen. I was in low A, and he would read off to him before the game every day. And we would all just take a guess. It was all about baseball.
Right.
And that was the most fun thing, honestly, like, of that. Just, like, learning truly, like, just some shit about baseball.
Right.
And like stuff you wouldn't like really ever think of. And but no, they don't have him anymore. I wish. I love that guy. Yeah. But no, I mean the classrooms and stuff, like all the video. We do so much video work. It's kind of like crazy. And like the guys I talk to, that the older baseball guys, that like obviously they don't play anymore.
Right.
But like my dad's stuff, like they didn't have that stuff.
No, they had to like.
Yeah,
they're watching like news clips to try and like
put in the VR.
Yeah,
VCR, and
or they would have to take their own time and go watch that player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to learn about. Yeah,
oh yeah, and it's not the same anymore.
Right.
It's literally a different game of ball.
Especially with the changes now.
Yeah.
And then insane. With the amount of international players that are in pro baseball now,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
Like a lot of the Latino guys, man, a lot of them are studs, man.
Dude, they are. They have the best hands I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They live and breed baseball.
Right.
Like, that's all it is.
I mean, even infielding has changed.
Yeah.
Like, infielding is.
If a ball's on the ground, man, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, that's an out. And if they make an error, I'm like, okay, they got the next one. It's like I'm not sweating about if another one gets hit to them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're just going to turn a double play next time.
Right. He was due for his one.
Yeah.
You know. Like, yeah.
Okay, he's due for his one in half a season.
Right.
So
150 games, he'll have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the average. Yeah. But
you need to get down and watch some games. I thought we were going to get to Springfield this next year, but we don't.
No.
Springfield comes to us. Yeah, man, it made me upset because usually like we'll flip flop every year. Either it'll be at Frisco or Springfield.
Okay.
And no, they come back to us because like this past year we played them in Frisco.
I mean, I'll be in Florida more this year, so like from Miami, it's not that far.
Yeah.
We could probably do something there.
You gonna move down there?
No, I say that, but
you might.
I like it down there, man.
I've never been down there.
It's crazy how much money's down there.
Really?
Oh, dude.
Just Lamborghinis everywhere.
Supercars, like
yeah. You were telling me about their golf carts.
They got tricked out golf carts.
That's pretty sick, though.
And then like, what's funny is like, so like the ultra wealthy or the wannabe wealthy, you know, they're driving supercars.
Yeah.
And then like the billionaires, they just like ride around golf carts.
Aren't like some of the communities though, like they're only golf carts?
They do have those now. Yeah. But can you imagine how frustrating that would be if you had like 350,000 supercar, you drove to work, and then you go to leave, and there's a golf cart parked next to it. You're like, dude just flexed on me with a golf cart.
Right. Didn't even think that was possible, what it is.
Yeah, like, I'm a loser.
Jesus, just gonna go home, cry myself to sleep.
Yeah. No, but it's crazy. They got this mall down there, like Aventura Mall.
Mm-hmm.
It has like two of everything.
Jesus,
because it's so big.
Yeah,
and then people, of course, don't want to like walk that far, so it's like there's a Rolex on each side of the store. You know, multiple Louis Vuitton stores, like every so name you've ever heard of, like 2 Versace stores, like 2 everything.
That's kind of how like Scott. You ever been out to Scottsdale?
Mm-hmm. Not in a long time, no.
So they have a real nice mall out there. I mean, I don't think they have 2 stores of everything. But
They're growing.
oh, dude, it's popping.
I'll be out there next year though.
Really?
Yeah.
What time?
Probably all through the year. Yeah.
If you're out there during spring training, you need to stop by the complex.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. That'd be in like March.
I forgot that. Yeah, that might line up.
Because we're about like an hour away from there, 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, that's not shit.
No.
No, that would definitely. I forgot you guys were out of Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that area is growing a lot. I want to own some property there too because it's just triple in value.
No kidding.
So what? We get into like knowing what you know now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would be some pieces of advice to like other high school baseball players, like looking at even play at the college level?
Yeah.
What did you do right, or what did you do wrong? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you see mostly that they should change? Like, you know, and I know I'm asking that's like 9 different questions, but
right. Honestly, I just say like being consistent. Like as much as like you can work out, you can do like all that stuff. As long as you're like, even if it's the bare minimum, but you're being consistent with it, you will be a lot better than so many people.
Oh yeah.
It's like people like, man, I've played with a couple people that don't do anything, but like they're still great. And I'm like, how are you that good?
Right.
And then like you gotta work your ass off to be where you are. And just like never really taking a break. Like you obviously need breaks, but like you always need to be doing something. There's always somewhere to be better at.
Right.
As much as like you think you like, oh, I'm good in this spot. No, you can do better.
Yeah.
And just always like from what I've learned, like I think it was like 2021 off season, like it's where I was doing the most. So like working out, oh man, I was doing so many push-ups and so many like sit-ups and stuff like that. I was just like every day I was like, I'm just gonna, no matter if it's like 30 minutes of like just an at-home workout,
right?
I'm like, I'm gonna do that in the morning. I'm gonna go to Randy. I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna go work. It was just like I felt the best that year.
Yeah.
And then I think I got too tight because I was doing too many push-ups.
Right. Probably. Yeah. Shoulder.
Locked
up a little bit.
That's when it locked up. And but just the consistency part, like getting in the gym, throwing, like not making any excuses. You need to get it done. And if you want to be at the next level, then you need to work at it.
Right.
And I think like getting that motivation is hard. Like you can obviously watch as many videos about it.
Yeah.
But you have to get it through your head. Like, okay, like if I really want it, I need to do it.
Yeah. And motivation is fleeting. It's 2 weeks. I think they've actually tested it. It's like even like a highly disciplined person, like you lose motivation.
Yeah.
At the 2 week mark.
Yeah.
By then.
Mm-hmm.
So because you don't have discipline.
Exactly.
But yeah, I have that's one of the things that I hate when parents do is, or sometimes it's the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they'll come in for like 3 or 4 months straight, and then they're like, well, I got this sport starting.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna take some off time. It's
why
you actually didn't get any better doing strength training for 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Even 6 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because you regressed.
Right.
And then have to start you all over again. So you're just in this constant. Actually, it's putting you more in jeopardy of danger.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things you just hate to see. It's just like, but do something.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's why I wish I could like do your workouts like during season. But I mean, I'd be in so much pain if I did.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
But because like when I come back, man, I notice a difference. Like I'm like, man, dude, I got weaker like during the season.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, I was like, I wish I could change that. I was like, but if I worked out 4 times a week and like was going balls to the wall, dude,
right.
I wouldn't be throwing as well because I'd be so fatigued by the end of the season.
Right.
Because I mean, we're playing every day.
Right.
So like it's not
there's no
break.
Like I can't just sneak in a heavy squat day.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'll be sore for 4 days after.
Right. And then I mean, and normally that's, I mean, in a good program, that's how it works. Is like we're gonna peak your conditioning along with your strength so that it peaks at the right time, and then if you can get them to peak at the right time, it lasts you the longest through your season.
Yeah.
And again, that's if like everything lines up.
Oh yeah.
Which is, it's not that hard to do, really.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have some fall off.
Right.
But at the 10-week mark, you should have noticed a lot of fall off.
Yeah.
Getting into week 12, week 14, you're gonna see some speed and some strength fall off. But it's not
shouldn't be that dramatic.
Yeah, it's not anything you can't ramp back up in a month or 2.
But no, your workouts compared to like my baseball workouts are just completely different.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like obviously like we're training a little harder here, but like man, our workouts during the season are like 15, 20 minutes long.
Yeah. And they're probably just trying to get them to do mobility crap.
It's kind of like eyewash. You're like,
babysitting.
yeah. You're like, okay. Like, and then like you get out of there, like, did I really get better there? You're like,
right.
So
they would have been better off doing sprints for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Now, but
like
then
some of the stuff that I see.
Yeah, but then there's some days like during spring trainings, man, we really hone in on spring training, and I think it was extended actually. And like usually our lifts during that time would like take us about an hour. And he's like, all right, boys. He's like, I want it done in like 25 minutes. And so we like sprinted through it. Like, I mean, there was no breaks in between reps or anything. And I mean, I was beat after it, but I mean, I felt like the greatest. And I was like, man, I wish every workout kind of felt like this.
Yeah.
And they just don't really. They don't compare to yours.
Yeah. I don't. Somebody else said that too. They were like, he wrote the best programming. Like, I don't know about that. But.
Yeah.
But when you've never had it before and you finally get it, it's like,
it makes a difference.
Yeah. And then once you've known you had it, when somebody sells you some other bullshit, you're like, that's not real. That's not how this is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's easier.
Right.
You're like, no. But that all comes back to that putting in work. Like you gotta want it for your reason. You actually have to have a real reason.
Yeah.
Getting attention or money, like all that will fade after a minute.
It will.
You know.
You gotta find that.
You gotta have something that you found that's just yours, and that's why you're doing it. Whether that's money, sports, whatever. Like anything that you're gonna bust your ass on 7 days a week for years at a time.
Yeah.
Like you have to know your why.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Because if not, you're not gonna enjoy it.
No, and you're not gonna last.
No,
you're gonna give up after a while.
Yeah. You see that every once in a while. It kind of hurts. You're like, you'll see a couple dudes like leave like on their own. You're like, man, you're like, that's tough. Like you never expect like them to like not.
And they had talent.
Yeah, they like
you see something they don't see, and they just like, I don't care.
Yeah, like there was a couple dudes that just like never showed up to spring training. They're like, yeah, I was just done with it. I'm like, damn. It's like I don't know how you could like you put all this time and effort into it just to call it quits.
Yeah, just to walk out now.
Yeah, I was like, at least like let them say you're done.
Like, let them fire you. Like, kick me off the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go out screaming, punching. Like, you know,
I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Exactly. And
I mean,
it's all different.
If you age out, that's different. Like you tried. Like you know, but
everybody's different.
Yeah, I think too. It's like people don't. It's like first world problems around, and like, a lot of people have never faced any amount of adversity.
No.
And so the minute they do, they quit.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's a foreign feeling. They've never felt it before. They're just like,
oh, I'm done. I don't want to do that.
I made a mistake in front of everybody. And you're like,
so what?
Yeah, big deal. Like
everybody does.
Get over it.
Yeah.
But that's also too what's actually it makes it easier to succeed because all those people weed themselves out so fast. If there's nobody else in line, you're just like, okay, I'll take that opportunity.
Right.
Like
I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in business.
Oh
man, like so many people quit. It's
really?
Like, yeah, like, you're not even to the hard part yet, man.
We're a month in. Come on now.
You're only how much in debt? Oh, you ain't even started. Like, you know,
it's rookie numbers.
Yeah, for real. You even want to let people know you're going to Australia?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. Well, I don't even know when I'm leaving yet. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's what's killing me. It's like I usually don't have anxiety or anything,
right?
But like they told me about maybe going to Australia the last week of the season. Like, do you want to go? And I've wanted to play winter ball this year,
right?
Just because like I didn't have the best year, and I wanted to keep throwing because I feel great,
right?
And so like I'm like, okay. They tell me about it. I'm like, sweet, let's do it. I was like, that's kind of the one spot I wanted to go to,
right?
And a week later, I'm like, no information, like nothing at all.
Yeah.
And so finally, I was supposed to throw a live BP to like a big leaguer, and it got canceled. So I like stayed in town for
that
a couple extra days, and it got canceled. And so I was talking to my pitching coordinator, and I was like, what are your thoughts on like going to Australia? And he's like, well, I didn't really know about it. He's like, he's like, I'll dig into it a little further for you. I'm like, okay. Like a week later, he's like, hey, he's like, yeah. He's like, so you're all set for Australia? I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, didn't really hear anything else. Like,
right
when I was supposed to leave, and they're like, okay, yeah, we really don't know yet. Practices start, I think, the 28th. So coming up.
Oh,
is that tomorrow?
No, that's
Is that today?
That's Monday.
Monday. And
yeah, no, it might even be Saturday because the 31st is Tuesday because that's Halloween.
Yeah. So yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
And he's like, practices start the 28th, and then games are like mid-November, something like that.
Oh, right on.
And so I'm probably gonna leave somewhere around late October. And this is early on. This is still in September.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, probably gonna leave like sometime late October. And no, I mean, we just sent my visa stuff like a week and a half ago to get figured out.
So they might be waiting on that.
They are waiting on that. So that's the killer. Like they don't even know yet.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
But as soon as they get the visa, it's like get to the airport.
Yeah. Next day.
Yeah.
Out of here. It's like that's the killer. Like they don't know. I don't know. So like it's all up in the air.
How is there a lot of Australian like minor league teams?
No. So there's like
you play the same 4,
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Well, that's but more than I thought.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Do you know much about Australia?
I mean, they got kangaroos and shit.
Kangaroos and snakes that bite. Snakes and big spiders.
Yeah.
But no, so like every city is like a flight away. So we have to fly everywhere. And it's all like 2.5 hour flights. Like it's nothing like short.
Right. Oh, so yeah, it's not like a
and every city's on the beach. So like that's the cool part.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. But like the whole middle of Australia is just like desert,
a barren wasteland.
Yeah. Well, it's the outback.
Yeah, because it's everything. I mean, kind of is all on the east coast of Australia.
Yeah, but then like
Sydney, Perth, and like all that, and then or is Perth on the other side?
I think Perth's
they're all on
west.
They're all on the
coast.
On the coast, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really excited about all the snakes. I mean, I don't mind snakes, but like it's like
I mean, I don't think you're gonna be in the outback or anything.
I might want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go deep sea fishing though. There, I think the fishing's real good.
Oh yeah, because they got the coral reef and all that. Like
that's like northern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fishing be good probably.
It should be.
Yeah.
Or man, what else? New Zealand, right there. One of my old baseball coaches used to go hunting in New Zealand.
Really?
And he said it was awesome.
I've never been there, but I wanted to go there.
I didn't realize how like down under the Australia is. Like it's deep.
Yeah.
I thought like part of it ran through the equator.
Oh yeah, you thought it was higher? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's nowhere near it. But no, like the people I've been talking to that are over there, they're like, yeah, there's no snakes or no kangaroos or no spiders hanging around. Like, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if I woke up with a snake crawling on me, there would be problems. Because I saw a video. I mean, it was like 2 days after they told me I was truly going.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the eastern brown snake or something like that. That's over there. It's like one of the most deadly snakes.
Oh yeah.
It can flatten itself like to get under a doorway.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Nope. Just kills you instantly.
Yeah. All right, man. So you're going Australia till February-ish?
I think it's like 3 months. I think if we don't go to playoffs, it's it'll end early February.
Early February.
I
I mean, you get to miss winter here.
Oh yeah. I heard the summers are hot there though.
Oh yeah.
They said the sunscreen over there, like our sunscreen here, doesn't work over there.
Really?
Apparently they don't have like an ozone or
Do they have a different sun than us? Or
that's what I'm saying. For sure it's all the same.
Yeah, like
if I don't come back with an accent, I'm gonna be upset.
Oh, that's the other thing. You're not gonna know what anybody's saying for like half the time.
Well, they speak English.
They speak English. Well, I mean,
yeah, it's broken English or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
also a little nervous.
You probably won't want to come back.
Well, a 20-hour flight. Yeah, my mom said I can't find a wife over there.
Dude, it's like 3 to 1.
Yeah. She's like, you can't find a wife over there. I need to have my grandkids living in the United States. You know how moms are.
Oh yeah.
And
mom, she can move.
Yeah, it's like she'll move to the United States. Come on now.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Everybody used to want to come here, but now.
Yeah, true. Now America's going wherever we are. They say Melbourne, though, where I'll be playing at, is the number one city in the whole world to live in. Like
really?
One of them.
One of the nice.
Yeah.
One of the best. That's cool.
So,
yeah.
Should be fun. I'm excited. You should come out. It's a 20-hour flight.
Yeah, it's 20 hours.
That does not sound fun.
No.
I've never been on like an international flight, so I'm hoping like the seats are.
Oh, it's a much bigger plane.
Yeah, I knew that, but like I don't know how do the seats. I'm sure you've been on one.
Yeah.
How do the seats work?
So it depends. Like if it's well, it really depends on what class you fly.
So I'm thinking about so they buy our tickets anyways. So I'm thinking like if it's cheap enough, I might just upgrade to first class.
I would. Because then you'll have like one that actually like some of them now have beds.
Yeah, they have like whole.
So they're like little cubicles.
Yeah.
So, which is worth it. I mean, it's a little investment.
Yeah, sometimes you got to spoil yourself.
Yeah, I do. Shit, man. All right. We'll maybe we'll set this up next year again.
Yeah, absolutely. That was good.
Just to see where you've gone and what's on the schedule next.
Some more shop.
Yeah. Especially if we did one that was just or maybe next one we'll do just totally about baseball.
Yeah.
Like just
we kind of bounce around everywhere.
Baseball part.
Yeah.
Well, you still have the liberty because
right.
at a certain point you won't be allowed to say so many things.
Right.
But I don't know. Politics need to get out of sports,
don't they?
Man, they're ruining everything.
Everything.
Can we bring Nolan Ryan back? Just let him beat the shit out of everybody.
Like that's Abreu hit Adolis Garcia the other night. Yeah. He got like 2-game suspension for it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he did pimp the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But like, he just probably deserved to get hit. But like, it's part of the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. Like, okay. Good for you.
I know. To me, it's like whenever they took tobacco out of baseball, that's when that was just like the
start going downhill.
Like, everything's getting, and I get it.
Well, it's like
budgets are tighter.
Yeah,
owners aren't making as much money.
Well, if you get caught,
I get it. But
chewing tobacco, I know it's in the minor leagues. It's $1,000 fine.
Really?
Yeah,
in the minor. Yeah.
So I don't even know what it is for the big leagues. I'm sure it's a lot more than that.
There's probably a whole nother zero.
Oh yeah,
maybe if not two more. Yeah. Because what was it if you missed a protein shake? Like, didn't you get a fine for that?
Oh,
like if you missed a meal or you didn't do something like at Arizona.
Yeah, what was it? I think it was like $50.
Yeah, if you missed.
But that was back when we were getting like pennies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, $50 is a lot compared to what you're getting paid.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it was. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a protein shake.
I told you at one point. I kind of forgot all about that stuff.
That was the weed out phase, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there were people that just miss it on purpose.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, I ain't doing it. Like, dude, you racked up $500 this month. Like, how can you afford that?
Right.
It's like, I don't care. Jesus.
Mom and dad are still supporting them.
Right.
All right, man. We'll wrap it.
Sounds good.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Whether your strength journey is just beginning or decades in the making, keep those weights heavy, your goals in sight, and always stay committed to becoming the best version of yourself. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay strong and be inspired.